Hello my beautiful people, welcome back again to my channel. My name is Princess, and if today is your first time seeing my channel, you are very much welcome. Kindly hit on the subscribe button, and please don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that you will be the first to be notified whenever I post a new video. And into this video, I'm going to be sharing with you all how I draft and sew this beautiful bustier Ankara gown with an underbust corset and a Basque waistline. Alright, beautiful people, let's get started.
And here, to make this beautiful dress, we'll be needing the following: our Ankara print. We'll also be needing this lace fabric for the sleeve area, and we'll also be needing our crepe material for the waist area of this dress. And feel free to use any material of your choice. So here on our pattern paper, the first thing for us to do is to mark our pattern paper like so on our table, and then we'll mark our starting point. I usually like to minus 0.5 from my pattern paper and draw a straight line across. So this straight line across here now becomes our shoulder line. Every other measurement we're going to take will start from this point downwards. I hope you're understanding. So basically from our shoulder line now, we'll begin to impute all other measurements, like from shoulder to bust measurements. You measure it from here, place your measuring tape from here and mark where your bust point falls. You put a mark there. Next thing, still holding your measuring tape, you measure your shoulder to under bust, shoulder to waistline, and then we'll draw a straight line. This is our waistline, these are under bust, this is our bust point. To begin, we measure our neck depth, mark out 3 inches from my shoulder line, and the neck width is also 3 inches. I like to connect it with my curve. Measure my shoulder. My shoulder measurement is 14 divided by 2 is 7, so I'll mark it out here. Mark it, and then on that same point, I'll come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. Okay, I'll connect it from here back to my shoulder. And the next thing, for my shoulder slope here, I like to come down to mark out my armhole depth. Marking the depth of my armhole here, I would like to put a line across, and this line I'm marking now will now become my chest line. To write it here as my chest line. So coming to the chest line, I would like to also measure my shoulder measurement 7 inches so that I can join the line, so I can connect my armhole line. Next, I'll measure the midpoint, divide it into 2, put a dot there, and I'll go in towards the midpoint, towards my center line. I'll go in by 0.5. I'll connect it from my shoulder slope like so. You should be able to get the exact thing I'm doing. Now I'll come down to my chest line and divide my bust circumference divided by 4, and I'll measure and mark it on this line like so. So I'm going to connect these points together to curve out my armhole. So at this point, I would like to do the same thing I've done here for the back. So for the back, I'll come in by 0.3, come down by 1.5. Next, I will input my shoulder measurement, come down by 0.5. I'll connect it. And on the chest line again, I'll come in and mark my shoulder measurement so that I can connect this line together. Come back here and mark the same measurement, my bust point divided by 4. I'll mark it here so that I'll be able to curve out my back armhole. Next thing we do now is to impute our nipple to nipple measurement from one nipple to the other. We divide it into 2. We're going to put that measurement on our bust point, put a knot there, and also mark it on your waistline. Now after marking it, what next is for us to connect it. The next thing is to divide your shoulder measurement into 2 and mark the midpoint. You are going to put a straight line from the midpoint to our chest line. All right, next we start imputing our darts. All right, I would like to start from my underbust. So for my underbust, which is this line, on the side that is facing me, that is the midpoint line, I'm going to measure 0.5. I'll do the same on the waistline. I'll mark it. Now coming over to this other side, the side that's facing the side of our body, Still on that under bust measurement, I'm going to measure 1.025. All right, so I'll do the same on my waistline, and then I'll connect both lines with a straight line, my waist measurement, and the same thing applies to this one on this other side. So next we'll come to our bust line. I'm going to come down by 1 from this my bust line there. Next, I would like to connect these 2 points with my curve. And now, in order for us to determine our neckline, I'm going to go up from my chest line. Remember this line that we drew to divide our shoulder slope? I'm going to go up by 1 inch. 1 inch. I like to draw a line across it. Next, I'll take my darts. So on this same point, I'll come in from this other side, facing the center point. Measure 0.5 on this side and 1 inch on this other side. On this 1 inch. So next thing, I'll come in with my curve and connect these 2 points to my bust point line. So next, with my curve, I would like to determine my neckline. If you want your own to be straight and all square, you can leave it like this. But I like to do a little sweetheart neckline here. So with my curve, I will position it in a way it will give me the sweetheart neckline shape that I want. I'll connect it like so. I'll go back and impute my bust point measurement on this line. So the next thing for us to do is to impute our measurements and shape up the pattern. So I'll start from my chest line. I'll divide my bust circumference into 4. And I'll mark it here. So next, I would like to measure the dart difference here and put it back on this point. I'll mark it. I'll go back to my underbust. My underbust divided by 4. I'll mark it here. And then I'll measure the difference we have here for our dart intake. I'll transfer this dart here and mark it. I'll do the same thing for my waistline. I'll measure my waistline divided by 4. And I'll transfer the dart here. Next, I'll connect it. So the next thing is for us to cut out this pattern. After cutting out these pieces, I would like to label it and put my arrow, knowing fully well that when I'm sewing it, these points are going to, face each other. Okay, put the arrow like so, and then I would like to cut my underbust span. I would like to cut it open. So this is me slashing it open like so. You can also go ahead and label it. This is the side. This is the center front. All right. This is the side. This is the center front. This is our yoke. All right. So keeping the yoke aside, these are the pattern pieces that we'll be using. So I like to open this up now and then place our pieces up like this. Then I'm going to use my tape and hold them together. I've gone ahead to mask it up, okay, so that when we open it up, we can see. And if you look at it closely, you find out that this upper side is longer than this side. So this short side is our true waistline, while this one is our underbust line, okay? Don't forget that. So before we cut our bags, I would like to alter my neck. So depending on the kind of neckline you want or the style you have in mind, you go ahead and just do what you want. So I just want to alter my yoke a little bit. So I would like to connect from my it down to the midpoint of my shoulder slant. So with my ruler, I would like to do something like this. So this is how I want my yoke to look at. So I'll quickly cut it out. This here becomes my yoke. Label it. So the next thing is for us to talk about our bars. I'll keep this aside. Remember, this is all we need. I'll go ahead and place another paper underneath. After masking it down like this, I'll fold it into 2 using this part. You see? And then from my true waistline, I'm going to measure 4.5 down. I'll put a dot there. And coming to the true waistline of this part, I'll come down by 1 inch. On my waistline by 1 inch, I'll connect it with a line inch by the side. All right, so from this 1 inch, I'm going to connect it to this 4.5. So if you want it to be straight V, you can just draw a straight line. If you want it to have a little bit of curve, just like I do, then you have to use your curve rule and connect it. And next, I'll cut it out. So this is how, if we open this thing up, this is how it look like. So this is our basque. So these are all the pieces that we'll be working with. And this is our yoke. Can you see? So the next thing I'm going to do is to transfer all these pieces to our fabric, and I'll show you. Stay tuned.